A very good morning to all. Myself Rakesh Kumar, your subject teacher for environmental studies. Let us go through the syllabus. So this syllabus is particularly prepared by Assam University Silchar and the subject code is AECC2. It is a one semester compulsory course module for undergraduate programs. Your syllabus comprises of 5 units, that is Unit 1, Introduction to Environmental Studies and Ecosystems. Unit 2, Natural Resources, Renewable and Non-Renewable Resources. Unit 3, Biodiversity and Conservation. Unit 4, Environmental Pollution, Environmental Policies and Practices. And the last unit, Unit 5, that is Human, Communities and the Environment. Here we will be dealing about various topics and various subtopics under these headings. So first is your Introduction to Environmental Studies and Ecosystems. Here we shall be acquiring knowledge about the definition, scope and importance of the environmental studies, multidisciplinary nature of environmental studies, need for public awareness. Then we'll be learning about concept of ecosystems, under which we shall be discussing about this. There are producer, consumers and decomposers, energy flow in an ecosystem, how does the energy flows in an ecosystem, followed by food chain and food web. I am pretty sure you must be well understood about these two topics particularly, that is food chain and food webs. Ecological pyramids, ecological succession. Then comes the neutral cycle, under which we should be studying about the carbon cycle and the nitrogen cycle. Then major ecosystems of the world. So let's begin. So the definition stands: environmental studies can be studied as a multidisciplinary subject. It can be defined as a multidisciplinary subject under which we deal about various aspects of the environment, right, with their components of the environment, their interactions with each other, and so on. It basically aims in creating awareness, imposing knowledge, generating attitude, developing skills, so that we can actively participate. How do we create this awareness? By just let me give a very simple example. Like now I'm teaching you all this particular subject. In one sense, I'm awareing you about the various issues and aspects of the environment, okay, and followed by which I'm trying to impose certain knowledge of the environment in you, okay, so that a positive attitude may be generated among yourselves, and followed by which you may develop certain skills for handling various issues of the environment. And we all know that without active participation nothing can be implemented in the root level or in 100%. So this participation is also very much required. So what is the scope of environmental studies? For better understanding of this subject, we need to have a clear-cut understanding that it is applicable in many fields, various fields, okay, starting from ecological field to scientific, various other scientific fields, as well as economic fields, etc. Okay, it includes the active participation of industrialists, sociologists, geologists, conservationists, biologists, engineering sections, etc. It may be applied in different spheres, okay, some of which are as follows: natural resource conservation, like we have plenty of resources available on this earth, so we need to know how can we conserve these resources, and for that we need to have a better understanding of this subject. Second is your environmental pollution control. As we know, this is a huge problem in today's modern world. There are lots of pollution in every field, in every aspect, right? So if we have the knowledge of environmental studies, we can minimize the extent of this pollution, okay. Environmental management, okay, so that we can produce a sustainable and balanced environment, right? Industry, in various industries, industry is a major source of pollution, as we know. So what are the things that could be done so as to minimize the effect of these pollutions can be known through the subject environmental studies. Then in the field of medicine also, as we know, there are lots of plant resources, animal resources, microbe resources from which medicines are obtained, right? And the proper understanding of those environmental objects, aspects, can help us in developing some better quality medicines. Then research and development, obviously, suppose there is a barren land, how can you convert it into a fertile land, right? This is a matter of research, right? And it can be acquired only through active observation, active knowledge, gaining active knowledge of this particular subject. Social development, obviously, environment simply means everything that surrounds us. It includes all the human beings as well, which are living around us, right? That is our neighbors, that is our society. So through these environmental studies, we can learn that we know that there are certain physiological aspects which comes into play in related to this subject, right? So as we know, health is a state of complete mental, social and physical well-being, right? So this, if we have a good environment, then obviously we will have a good mental health as well. Now, enhancing the economy, very important points. As we know, most of the economy comes from the farming activities, right? So if we impose the knowledge of environmental studies in the farming category, right, in the farming field, right, with a much better skill, then we can enhance the economy. The multidisciplinary nature of environmental studies, like I said, it is not only restricted to a particular field of science, but it is a combination of many other aspects such as chemistry, physics, engineering, geology, etc., right? As it is known as multidisciplinary subject. Like, for a very basic example, let us take suppose you found an organism, living organisms. Let us say it is a plant. Suppose you have found a plant in a particular area and you know nothing about it. So what you will do? You will go to a taxonomist, and the taxonomist will help you to identify the plant, right? It will help you in this naming, identification and nomenclature of that particular plant, right? Then you will go to a morphologist who will tell you about the external appearance. Morphology is the study of the external appearance of any particular organism. And then you will go to an anatomist who will give you the detailed information about its internal structure, that is what kind of cells it is made up of, what is the nature of its cells, etc. Cytology, that means about the cell and the chromosome which is present inside the cell. Genetics, that means the genetic makeup of the living organism, that is the plant. And molecular biology, that is various aspects related to its processes, physiological processes, as well as the nucleic acids, etc. Then meteorological studies is very much important, that is the plant surviving in the particular environment requires certain favorable parameters. So what are those? We can know, we can understand this by the subject, from the subject meteorological studies. Then comes your geographical features, that means in what kind of land or which portion of the earth it can be found, or which is it is grown best. Okay. Then ecology, that means the study of the relationship of that particular plant with its surrounding environment as well as the other plants. Okay, that comes under this subject, ecology. Then economics, as for example, you know, this neem plant, it gives a chemical compound azadirachtin, which is antibacterial in nature. Okay, or you name any plant which is any medicinal plant. Okay, they are known for their medicinal importance. And on the other hand, the crop plants, they are known for their they are also known for their economic importance, right, in the terms of our GDP, etc., right? So these are all related to the economic terms, which can be best studied under the subject ecology of economics. Next is your statistics. To know, statistics basically deals with about the numbers of the population, right, their occurrence, distribution, etc. And law, very important. Suppose we have wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, etc., right? These are enclosed portions of the earth in which various important plants and animals are found, right? So we need to have certain laws in order to protect this sort of biological species, so that we can have a sustainable and balanced environment. Now you can have a look at this slide. There it is showing number of natural resources, right? So you can see clearly, if you are to protect these elephants or okay, those birds, then you need to protect its environment, isn't it? So for protecting its environment, you need to have a good understanding about these geographical features, about the meteorological features, etc., right, about the physics, chemistry and biology of its surrounding environment, right? Then only we can be able to conserve these two species, right? So there are mineral resources as well, right? So resources are required for human utilizations, right, for making various useful products as per the requirements. So if we don't exploit it, if we go on exploiting these resources, then it will come to an end in the near future. Okay, and our immediate future will not, our immediate generation will not be able to utilize all these resources, right? So we need to sustainably use all these resources so that our future generation can also use it. Now, what is the need for public awareness, right? First and foremost, rapid industrialization and rise in population has led to a number of pollutions as well as urbanizations, right? That is availability of less space. So, in order to minimize it, we need to have a clear-cut understanding about these environmental aspects, right? Various environmental aspects, that is, how can we live sustainably and so that the environment is not affected, neither we are affected with it, because we are a part of the environment and we are dependent on the environment. Then the one more important aspect of creating awareness is to create an atmosphere. Okay, is to create an atmosphere so that we can actively participate in the decision making process, etc. Suppose if we are to take any decisions, then we need to have a clear cut idea of the facts associated with it, right? And this, if we right now in this slide we are talking about this environment, right? Environmental decisions. So we need to have a clear cut understanding of this environmental science subject, right? Well, so for that awareness is very much important, so that we can create an atmosphere for those people who don't have any knowledge about this environment and its issues, right? So that they are able to make and implement the decisions, okay, in the near future by themselves. And the last then comes your implementation of laws, that is, various laws have been enacted for the protection of the environment. Now only if we keep on preparing some certain laws, right, for the environment, and it is not implemented in the grassroots level, then it will be a great harm for the society, right, as well as our environment. So we need to take care that the laws are being implemented at the grassroots level also, so that we can have a sustainable, balanced environment. Then active yeah, how can we implement this sort of laws, right? Suppose you have acquired the knowledge about the environment, you have gained very skills in various sort of problem solving issue, right? Problem handling for problem handling, etc. So that is not enough. You need to actively participate if you want to save the environment, right? Suppose you have acquired much knowledge about the environment and various you have understood about its problem, how to overcome the problem, etc. But you are just sitting in your home idle, right? You are not actively participating, and that is a much bigger harm to the environment, right? So active participation is very much needed, right? So now we know that what is the need for public awareness. The need for public awareness is first and foremost to impose knowledge about the environment and various environmental issues, then to generate attitude, that is the ability to solve a problem, right? In this context it is related to the environment. Then developing skills, that is the perfection in the way of handling any sort of environmental issues, right? Suppose there is a deforestation going on in your area, then how would you deal with the situation, right? So that comes under your developing skill category. And active participation, like I said, okay, you need to actively participate if you want to contribute your part, and if you want to have a green, sustainable and balanced environment. So these pictures are very beautifully giving us some sort of messages. In the first picture to my upper left, you can see there is a there are books and plant, right? So it says if you have a good knowledge, if you have proper knowledge, then the environment will be in a balanced state, okay. On the other hand, you see there is a finger pointing out, and then there is a tree, as well as there are some industrial events going on, but still it seems to be a balanced one, right? Yes, because if we take the matter into some sort of balanced conditions, like if we minimize the extent of the pollutants which are released in the atmosphere, then in some sort we can maintain a balanced environment. Then comes the second row, that is the second row, first picture you can see. Yeah, here also you can see it is a balanced type, right? So that means what, the environment, even though industrialization is going on, right, pollutants have been released, but to a minimal extent, that's why it is in a balanced state. Then on the right you can see, in the middle right, you can see it is environment as a whole is balanced in itself, okay. Naturally it is balanced in itself, but we human beings through our extreme greed and over exploitation, we are just creating a imbalance. We are creating this imbalance in the nature, okay. Then comes your lower left picture, where it states that the extent of waste released in our environment is much more higher, okay, to bear, which is to be bearable for the mother planet. But you can see if we recycle it, okay, if we recycle, reuse and reduce the waste utilization, then we can bring it back to a balanced state, right? And In the last picture, you can see on my lower left, right, on my lower right, extreme lower right, you can see the human being and the mother planet. Okay, it's equally balanced. That means it depends totally upon the human beings. Okay, whether they are to balance the environment or they are to create a disbalance. Okay, through their utmost knowledge.